I got my feet propped up on the chair, and she's looking at me like I just stepped in her food bowl or something. She's not having, like, she's not going back to rest. Like, she's just like looking away from me now, cold shouldering me.
Yeah,
Animals are fickle.
And who would know that two big bearded guys were very awesome, caring of animal dogs. So, with that being said, this is Galactic Gumbo episode number 50, the All Geek Talk podcast. We've been kind of MIA for a few weeks. I had a couple of issues come up, and then there were a couple of things in getting some co-hosts with me. Which, when Josh had Gumbo, there was never an issue on co-hosts. Mike takes over. They're like, you know what? Fuck Mike. We don't want to do it anymore.
Well, to be fair,
not you.
Yeah, no. What I was gonna say was, like, to be fair, like, the night changed too, and it was, Gumbo, I think, was traditionally like after Cybercast, but like, I don't know about you, man. Like, sitting at just doing this for like more than an hour at a time, like, it wears down on you, and then you want to like run it through and do it another time, like. I feel like just with how much I do, especially this week, just in the last 7 days, we hosted Cybercast on Saturday, which was like 2 hours. And then I did the ETR, the big Pool Table Network crossover thing, Monday night for 2 hours. And then Stasis Lock for an hour and a half on Wednesday, this tonight, and then Cybercast again tomorrow. Like, I'm so over doing freaking podcasts, man.
It's kind of at the point where it's like, and it's like when we would do Cybercast for like, what was it, like a 2 hour, 2.5 hours, then we turn around and do Gumbo right after it, and it'd be, you're like, damn it, man. There'd be times where we felt like we were like 5-6 hours behind the computer because we would hang out afterwards and BS. And it's kind of like, man. Damn.
And even though it's like every other Saturday, it's like there's still some stuff I want to do on a Saturday night. You know what I mean?
That's because you're young. When you get to my age, you're like, fuck it.
I feel like I'm gonna go down a different path from, like, you did wife and kids. I may do a wife at some point, but
yeah, don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah. That's why I said I might. I'll order one. I won't like meet one traditionally. I'll buy one online. Amazon. I'll have Amazon ship me one.
What's up, Eric?
Gentlemen, how's it going? Long time.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you're able to make it on tonight. I know Eric is living the family life with a newborn. How old's that little one now?
He is now 8 months old, man. Rowdy.
My condolences.
Yeah, time flies. That's how long it's been since I've seen you. Last time I spoke with you, gents, or even hung out, if you will, was March. He wasn't even, he hadn't turned 3 months yet. And here we are. So how's everyone been, man?
A January birth, like, that's got to be pretty easy, right? Like,
no, brother, he was born in December, and he was born like exactly 10 days before Christmas. And what else is very fun about that? His birthday is 5 days after mine. 10 days after Christmas, and I come from part of my family, like I'm half beige. What I mean by that is half of my family's Spanish. So Christmas is a pretty big effing deal, which made things even more interesting trying to run around and do absurd shit.
Right, yeah.
So, it was fun, man, learning poop and learning all that other fun stuff.
Oh.
So, but
you're not selling me on it, man. You are not, like, I've asked my friends, like, in real life and over the internet, like, sell me on being a dad, and they fall pretty short.
Brother, let me tell you this: I'm 42 years old, and that kid makes me feel like a kid.
I got you. Okay,
you know what I mean. So, to tell you, I can tell it to you, I can't, man. We're each so different as individuals that, right. What might float your boat might piss me right off and vice versa. You know what I mean? But, maybe once you're shopping on Amazon, see if they don't have a loaner that you can maybe check out for a little while. Oh, wait. That's
I mean, definitely. I see, Amazon, like Amazon Russia or Amazon Hong Kong for the bride. And like, I'm thinking, maybe Amazon like Zimbabwe to like loan a baby.
I'm sure. But the shipping on that's going to be fucking brutal, so keep that in mind.
No, dude. Like
fine.
Amazon, that international DHL shipping, it's super cheap. It's like $12 for Transformers Masterpiece. I'm thinking anywhere from like 20 to 25 for a human child, baby or something like that.
At least.
Well, watch the FCC shut us down.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about trafficking children.
Meanwhile,
you are going to have to manually request a review to monetize this, Mike.
No doubt. So we're gonna shoot some topics off each other. And one I was talking about before I went live was that I'm 40, going to be 41 at the end of the month. Eric, you're 42. Dakota, you're what, 28? 26?
28.
28. So I thought. So at my age, I'm at the point to thinking, when is a good time to start being like, okay, I probably need to thin out my collection and say, I probably don't have very many more days left in my life, because if I die before I sell my collection, somebody might swoop in here and be like, oh, hey, I got 500 on all that, and my family don't know no better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why like having a living will is super important. Like even I've always joked about it on Stasis Lock, but I really do have a living will as to what is to be done with my collection in the event of an untimely demise. And it is all to be melted down and into like a ball or a box and buried with me. And I'm very serious about that. And like a lot of people are like, dude, you're insane. But like, that's what I want done with it. I don't have a family to worry about, that could, use the money or do this or do that. And it's been a pretty enjoyable part of my life. And I would like to, I think everything that I do have, I could melt it down into something that could just kind of fit down there by the feet in the casket. You know what I mean?
I've seen your collection. That's going to be a pretty big fucking block next to your feet.
Well,
Jesus.
I don't know.
It makes you wonder sometimes, I guess. I mean, I worry about it sometimes now. Of course, now people do know, everyone calls me 8-toe Mike. I had surgery back in March, lost another toe. And, I was laid up. And someone I used to work with at Red Bull, I ran into a couple weeks ago. He kindly let me know, hey, man, put on the weight. I'm like, hey, thanks, appreciate it. Been laid up in bed I was laid up in bed for 2 months. Couldn't do nothing except eat.
Right.
And so it's kind of like, I kind of worried then at that point, I had issues getting back on my feet and everything. So, sadly, I had to reach down and start selling some of my collection here as of late, which I didn't want to, but it's kind of the point of, like I said, 41, and I figured, what I needed the money for, I kind of needed like, okay, I need to grow up and use the money to actually pay something. Yeah, and one of the things that happened was that we got really behind on our third vehicle, which is it's a SUV Lincoln, and but it sits in the garage. It needs some work done on it, and it's like I owed like $1,000 on it.
Shit.
So, and this is what we're going. I don't know if you've seen it yet or not, Eric, but I posted up for sale my Tiger Force collection.
No shit.
Of all things, I know.
Whoa. You know what?
As soon as I
go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, as soon as it posted up, like 10 minutes later, Fred texts me. He says, "You're selling Tiger Force? You're kidding me."
Yeah, that's insane.
Got to do what you got to do. But I mean,
yeah, brother. That's true, though.
In this week alone, I probably made about.
No. Don't talk numbers. That's no one else's fucking business.
Oh, but I mean,
he's got a point.
You made some scratch, and you're going to be able to cover your bills. We'll leave it like that. Hey, by the way, shout out to I'm going to read this verbatim to you so you know I'm not bullshitting you. So Ben reached out, and he's like, look, man, tell Mike you can't trust a man with 8 toes.
No, you can't.
And what's funny, he's asking me, like, what the hell are you drinking? Like, assuming I'm, a fucking cool guy drinking alcohol. Like, yeah, right. I'm drinking guava juice. Like, yeah.
Fancy.
It's actually really good, man. It's the sweetness that I need without being able to have too much sugar. So it kind of gets that diabetic monkey off my back and lets me taste something sweet without having to overdo it, you know? But dude, to your point, oh, sorry, go ahead, man.
No. Go ahead. I was going to ask you a question.
No, you know, it's funny that you ask such an existential question and topic about, is it time? I started doing the same shit. I started packing up all of my Transformers that were loose on shelves. And, you know, with my health scare, it was like I've always collected stuff with the intention that one day, whenever I had a little boy, my toys would become his. But then, you know, sitting here in the fucking, I got to watch my language. I haven't been in public in too long. So sitting here with my thoughts and with Google in a dark hole for so many months was like, am I pushing my toys on my, you know, am I pushing what I want to collect on my kid? What if he doesn't like Transformers? What if he's, you know, a horrible person and likes GoBots or some shit like that? I have no control over that.
What if I'm raising a monster?
Yeah, you know what I mean, dude? Like, he's going to be, you know, just a sociopath. I don't know. But that I don't want to force that on him. So I'd rather sell all this stuff while I'm able to and put it in a little whatever fund for him. I mean, granted, I make it sound like I'm going to make more than fucking $37.95, but you know, just set it aside for him and let him choose what he wants to play with. Let him buy what he wants. Because to your point, anybody can come in here and be like, "Oh, hey, that Star Saber, yeah, that thing's a piece of shit. You know what? I'll give you $12 for it," or just stupid stuff like that. You know, and thankfully, my wife is smart enough to know better in that context, but she doesn't know the broad gambit. And to your point, brother, like the Living Will Jazz, she's a lawyer, so thankfully that's squared away, you know.
Right.
But it's something that worried me all the time, man. Like, you know, when you don't know if you're gonna be around for too much longer, you know, when your mortality comes and smacks you in the face, it kind of puts shit into perspective. Where it's like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I don't need Unicron or 3 of them. Like, you know, like maybe I don't need to keep one for the bathroom to hold my toilet paper. One for
you just giving me a new display idea for the Unicron now. Like that, but that's something too, man. Just that, you know, that crowd fund, that long gambit, that 18-month gambit. Like, am I going to be around? Hell, am I even going to be at the same mailing address in 18 months?
Amen to that. It's so true.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, like don't get me wrong. Like all that stuff did go through my head, but like at the end of the day, I 100%, like still backed it and all that. Like again, like I'm 28, and I ain't gonna have any kids and shit, and you know, it's not just like having your shit melted down. If you want to, you could have a living will where it all goes to, you know, someone to auction off on eBay individually, and they get a, you know, whatever agreed upon cut is. You know, there's all kinds of stuff for that.
I've actually thought that myself, where I would have someone do that.
My biggest fear is not to like toot my own horn, but I do have some very rare shit.
Yeah, right on.
And I don't want somebody coming in here and doing, and I'm going to put the guy on blast, Z75, the guy that found all those prototypes years ago, the G2 Stunticons and all that. Like, I know what he paid for all that shit, and I'm not going to, it's, you know, it was told to me in confidence, so that's where it's going to stay. But I mean, we're talking like hand over fist times 100, and he still hasn't moved, you know, all of that stock. Yeah. I don't want a douchebag like that getting my shit. Right. Like at that point, like that's where I would rather it be melted down, and put with me, or like I do, like I've got it. The way I have my collection room sort of set up is there's half of it that is 100% going into that melted ball. The other half is it's definitely like, okay, 90% of this other half of the room can be sold. Yeah, and, right. And it could net me a decent amount of money, you know, for whatever reasons. So.
Yeah, dude, and I tell you, enjoy collecting, and pardon me because I'm not trying to be facetious in any means, but by any means rather, but enjoy collecting in your youth while you have it. Because as you start getting older, brother, I shit you not, like when I was 28, there was no effing way that I wasn't buying like waves × 2 at a time, super rare, whatever I wanted, I was going to go after.
I buy 3 of every Masterpiece Beast Wars toy. So
prime example. Now I'm like, you know what, man? I really want new outlets that have USB ports. That
don't get me wrong, dude. Like I'm still kind of very much that guy too.
Oh, right on.
Where like I want just like little things in the house to be just a little more 21st century. You know what I mean?
Sir. Yes, sir.
So I feel like I still kind of balance that, but like with my personal collecting, man, like there's not a lot out there like new for me. I'm still backtracking a lot because again, that young age, that's the other side of it. You're not buying a whole lot as it comes out, but you are spending a lot of time on backtrack.
Dude,
but
and then my heart breaks for you too, because and again, I just part of my language, the cost of shit now. Like, I understand the market, there's nothing out there to buy, so everyone is hunting for stuff they had or whatever, they replacing it. But I mean, just for the G.I. Joe side of things, I see prices on shit where it's like, guys, what are you doing? Like, the same figure you're dropping $40 for now is like literally $10 on a good day. Like,
I think I'd listed some more of my modern Joes. Like, I decided all I wanted to do was keep Snake Eyes.
Right on.
All the various Snake Eyes that I had. And I listed and I didn't really have a whole lot left after the last kind of purge. And I dumped Serpentor and a few others like Zartan and all that on eBay. And I just put them at a $5 bidding plus shipping, and just kind of waited on it. And then I was like, all right, I got a couple of low balls, like he put the offer on there on the auction where if someone wants to just offer like, $15 or whatever, and like, okay, I'll end this auction early for that. Well, a lot, like everyone that's come across those Joes has been offering under the list, like the star. I'm like, dude, you're not gonna get a 25th Storm Shadow for $3. Like, it's just not gonna happen. I'm not gonna do that.
It's the nature of our segment, unfortunately.
Well, I mean, Transformers fans are broke too, so I get it. But
that's facts. That's true.
But
hey,
like,
Mike, I love you, but you need to get the fuck rid of that avatar. I don't need to suffer from impotence on top of everything else that's going on. Like, can you?
I love it. His grill.
He loves that avatar. But
it's ridiculous, this guy.
But yeah, man, like so I'll hit him back with like a 2 times offer compared to like what I even wanted.
Right.
Just to be a dick, like, because I'm not like selling. Even if I sell this thing for like $8, $10, that's not not gonna make or break me till next payday. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just doing it just to get space. Real estate is my big issue. Like, that's my like, I want to keep everything confined to this one area, and any spillover is unacceptable. Yeah. So yeah, I think that shit's funny. But yeah, so like I had Serpentor and Zartan up, and like realistically, they sold for like I think $15-$20, something like that a piece.
See, dude, but even that is fair market value. The problem is you got guys going after vintage and paying an absurd amount for it, and then you got guys that are trying to backtrack the newer style, the modern era, if you will, and they want to lowball the shit out of everything because you know what, I could have gotten this 8 years ago at Ross. That's right, you could have, and you didn't. So now here we are 8 years later, and this is what they're going for. So either I can help you and ship this to you, or you can get out of my inbox, whatever floats your boat. But Mike, it's absurd to hear that you were selling your Tiger Force. But if we're talking absurdities, dude, I was already plotting out and mapping out all of my Star Brigade and Iron Grenadier stuff. So I hear you,
dude. I didn't even know Mike was selling Tiger Force. Like, is there even going to be a G.I. Joe show anymore, Mike? You're selling Tiger Force?
There is, but I mean, it's not going to be the same. As long as you keep those assless leather chaps with the tiger stripes on it, then that's fine. But
Tiger Force lives on. Yeah,
man. He's not even paying attention.
The best part is that he's muted, so we can make fun of Tiger Force until he unmutes.
Poor guy.
But yeah, so like ultimately, like, that's definitely where I'm at with that ordeal. Like, I know if things start to look a little grim, or I know if I need to make like a quick 1,000, right? There's a couple of cases I can unload. You know what I mean? Like as in like DTOF cases.
Yeah.
Worth of product I can just get rid of. It doesn't mean I want to. And like, as far as backtracking goes, I'm more of a Transformer guy for what it's worth.
Yeah.
As far as backtracking goes, I really don't have a whole lot. There's like 3 Fun Pub BotCon sets and the 95 BotCon exclusive, and like, that's it. I have nothing to backtrack. A few odds and ends in the Japanese Beast Wars line.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I'm done backtracking. It's just pinching pennies until the next masterpiece comes out, and that's why I've been buying the masterpiece Beast Wars stuff at three a pop, because it's like there's no more club or convention to take that money,
Right.
and if I feel like if I don't meet that same quota on like hobby, then I'll just have to start using it on like drugs and hookers. So
Be careful with hooker transformers, because the things that they're there, kibble is not something.
That's why they call it Bangkok and not Bangkok.
Mike knows all about that. Look, that's why I pulled up a Twinkie.
I changed it. It took me a minute. That's why I muted it.
You're a wonderful man. You're a good man, sir. Thank you,
Mike. I can't believe Mike's getting rid of Tiger Force and he's keeping all those fucking Funko Pops.
Wait a minute. Is that fucking real life, dude? You're getting rid of your Tiger Force shit, but you're keeping those?
Yeah.
Wow. All right, you know what? Whatever floats your boat.
The money where I need the money from, it was in Tiger Force.
Yeah.
I mean, I still have like, I think 30 Tiger Force figures left.
Dude.
Wait. You still have 30 figures left?
Yeah.
Modern figures?
Huh?
Oh, then fuck you. I don't feel bad for you. Like,
oh, yeah.
30 figures. I really got to watch my mouth. Hey, for all of you that may be watching this with your kid, I am a horrible human being. Sorry that I keep using the F word as a noun, a pronoun, an adjective, and all that other fun stuff.
I don't feel like.
What I was trying to say was that I sold the high-end ones, like the convention, vehicle sets.
Okay.
Those went fast.
I bet.
Last night, one guy wanted to buy every one of the troopers.
Okay.
So he bought all. So that left me with a lot of the box set and the final 12 and a couple of FSS.
Shit, dude.
So now I still have quite a few.
Money bags.
Sold the helicopter for bank. So I mean, I did really well, and I was able to get my car caught up and pay over half my taxes.
Good, man. I'm glad to hear that it at least went to something to get some stress off your fucking shoulders,
Yeah, it did.
A good friend of mine once said, "Sell to survive."
Yeah,
and I think that's very important.
See it, and I made that mistake with my Transformers, dude. When you talk about not needing anything, I tell you that I've been collecting since the '80s. There was a time where Hasbro used to sell Japanese Beast Wars 2 for $50 and shit like that. So would stockpile them, and then I got into this bad habit of, folks that know me know I move quite a bit. I've lived in 5 states. I've moved over 40-something times. So every time I move, I end up selling shit just so I don't have to lug it around. And then I rebuy it, and then I sell it, and then I rebuy it, and it's a very vicious circle. So over the years, I've sold I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
I was just gonna say, it's getting to a point now to where like rebuying it is going to cost you like double than what you even moved it for.
Dude. Yeah, I gave up.
It used to be easy.
No way. I was gonna just go with simple shit like, hey, you know what? If there's if I have a modern version of a Transformer on my shelf, I'm gonna get the vintage counterpart for it. But it was like, no, man. Again, because people are thinking the same way. It's just like, there's no way I'm paying that for a Headmaster Junior. And then I realize how old and cranky and cheap I'm getting too. Like, fuck you. I'm not giving you $100 for squeeze play. Like, I feel insulted by that. Like, but I know I shouldn't, because that's what the market's asking.
Right.
So I'd rather just phase myself out of that. Then I swear to God, I tell myself I'm not a Transformers guy, and then I look around and it's like, I think I have every line in here from the 30th forward. Still.
Oh yeah. Which that's another, like, but that's the great thing about Transformers is, like, you can sell all that old stuff. Eventually, there's going to be new counterparts to that old stuff. So to where you can still kind of get that same enjoyment out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think like Transformers is kind of singularly that.
Yeah, and that's why Hasbro pisses me off with this with the vintage re-releases yet for the 27th time, because I'm that asshole that's buying them for the 27th time. So our buddy down there with the Twinkie, gripping that Twinkie, never got me an Optimus. So I was one of those schmucks that decided to teach Walmart a proper lesson on holding out, and I paid $50 for an Optimus without a trailer, because that's normal. And now I scavenge Walmart's like a junkie looking for Soundwave and tapes.
Yeah,
Sound waving tapes?
Huh?
You need sound waving tapes?
If you find a set, yes, sir, I could use a set. Thankfully, Jeff
there's like
Zero
5 or
Full found me
6.
one, but I still need another one because I've been doing where I'm getting one for me and one for the kid.
No, there's like 5 or 6 sound waves and about 3 or 4 sets of cassettes on Walmart.
Oh, dude, tell me. I'll PayPal you money and just go.
Yeah, I'll go get them. With that being
no,
said,
leave now, Mike.
Yeah, no, Mike, go. Just fucking go. Bye.
Put it on pause to go. Okay. With that being
No, dude,
said,
all kidding
though, I
aside,
wanted
thank
to
you for
say-
your help, man.
Yeah, with that being said, though, I told Dakota earlier, when you see new stuff, but you go to a convention and you know it's at your Walmart and you haven't picked it up yet, but you got someone who's trying to mark it up at a show local. Now, is that a dick move or you know what?
I would say yes and no. I mean, I can't knock that guy's hustle. If somebody's willing to buy it and pay them that premium, knowing damn well that they can take the trip to Walmart and pick it up for themselves for cheaper, I'm not here to tell them how to spend their money. Now, is it a dick move that the guy's grabbing shit local and throwing it in a local show instead of letting his fellow collector that lives around the corner get something that costs? Yeah, it's pretty dick. But again, if somebody's willing to buy it from him, who am I to tell him no? When the Ram Horn showed up at Five Below, I didn't realize that it was a rare, and my Five Below had like 30 of them. I'm like, oh shit, all right, buddy, I'm gonna go pick some up. And I made the mistake of getting on a show and saying, yeah, Five Below over here near Clearwater Beach, blah blah blah, and somebody beat me to him and wiped the place out and was on eBay with him for I think $25 a pop. Like, what? Really? Okay.
Yeah. My deal with that is, I mean, yeah, I'm not really gonna hate the dude's hustle, but like me personally, if I spent money on booth space, I'm not gonna stock it with stuff that's easily found today, you know,
fair.
down the street. If anything, I'm gonna criticize the business choice of putting something so easily found there whenever that could go to, you know, something that isn't as easily found that I could definitely like even make more on, or even 10 things that I would make less overall on, but still like just to move inventory. Because I think personally, I think that Soundwave will sit there the whole weekend. But you know, and like I remember like BotCons, there was always that rumor that Hasbro would, you know, go to the stores nearby and drop a new wave of product at those stores. Now, whether or not that was true, I don't know. But I remember in BotCon 14, before the Age of Extinction movie came out, like no one could find the drift figure and all that. A buddy of mine found it in the dealer room and it was like $20. And I think that's the only time I ever bought anything that was, you know, essentially like on shelves or coming to shelves or whatever, and it was only for like a $5 markup. So
yeah, that's not bad at all, though.
If that, I mean, realistically, it's probably like a $2 markup. But
nice, dude.
After tax and all that other stuff, yeah. So I mean, I was like, yeah. I mean, let's, you know, obviously, but you know, again, I don't know how much. I don't even know which booth he found it at. He just told me he found it. And I said, yeah, pick it up, and I'll give you 20. And like that was that. So that's my kind of take away from it. But I mean, if it's common knowledge that stuff's available in the area, then whoever is, and I say this lovingly, dumb enough to buy it there, well, they deserve it. You know?
Yeah, dude, and I'm right there with you. And then a prime example, man. I'm down here in God's waiting room in Florida, and there's there's at least 4 Walgreens per every block here for every street. So folks will go nuts, like buying up Walgreens exclusives, or on eBay that is, and like paying through the teeth for like Rekgar or just anyone like that. And it's like, you realize that you can literally cross the effing street and go buy one right now at cost, right? And there's like 12 of them on that peg there. And again, brother, I wish I was kidding you. There's a Walgreens just about every half a click here, like every half a mile here, there's a Walgreens, at least one.
Oh, I believe it. You know, I mean, like, I got to think Florida, you know, that's got to be a hell of a place for a pharmacy. You know what I mean? A pharmacy business.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, everybody's just waiting to die. So they're just going to go get their meds and go home and, you know, enjoy life and retire. And it is what it is. And you have CVS's everywhere, but CVS carries shit. So no one cares. But with the Walgreens, it just blows my mind too, dude. For guys that collect Marvel Legends, I just giggle at the prices that they're paying online. It's like, I could buy all these and sell them, but instead I just go on the boards and I'm like, hey guys, I just found this whole, does anybody want one? I'm not buying it for you, but come here and get them.
Right.
You deal with that shit.
Yeah. You deal with the race and
right.
Yeah. I feel you on that one, man. But yeah, I think I did. I thought whenever Mike shared that with me, I thought that was pretty funny. I was like, dude, he's going to learn. He's going to learn this weekend.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to reissues and just how they were at Walmart. Like the Optimus Prime, you said, you showed them and you paid $50, then they clearanced it,
for $5 later. Yeah. Which was a real kick.
I never saw it for $5. Who found it? Did you see it for $5?
Well, it's a figure of speech, Mike. I think it got as low as 15 or 20 or something like that.
Yeah, but, my local didn't go below 35, and what was real jacked was all of the packaging on all. They had 5 of them. It looks like somebody, when they were opening the case, was hitting it with an X-Acto a little bit too quickly and cutting through the back of the box on all of them though. And still, they just marked them to 35, and it's like, dude, I'm still not buying at that price.
Yeah.
I was bad enough that I already paid fucking $50 for one. I'm not doing this again. But then I'm a hypocrite because I'm like, okay, mini bots and all this other crap, I need them all. So
that's I always wanted to get one of the hot rods. I'm not big on G1 toys or anything like that, but I always liked hot rod, and I saw it a few times, even on clearance, and I was just like, it's really not that big a deal. I think if I find one that still has the box and all that, it doesn't even have to be sealed, but as long as it's got the box and everything, if I find one for $15 or $20, shipped to me,
jump on it,
I'll pick it up. But I don't feel like I'm missing out if I didn't. But that was just the case for all of those reissues. I think Devastator was the exception. I think that's the only one that never really got clearanced out.
Yeah.
I actually found one for I think it was $17.
A Devastator? Wow.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on in Arkansas?
Yeah. When you talk about Walgreens everywhere,
mm-hmm.
Dollar Generals every half mile.
Oh yeah, here too though.
Well, while we're kind of on that reissue topic, how do you guys feel with the choice of reissue? I see what they've put out,
mm-hmm.
for the G1 stuff, and I'm a Beast Wars guy, and
right
I kind of loathe the idea that they would pick such commonly found figures to if they were to do a vintage reissue collection for Beast Wars, they put out a Cheetor, and as much as I want figures on rock bubbles of those Beast Wars toys, and I would absolutely jump at a rock bubble Dinobot, but I would still look at that Dinobot and be like, that's a $20 toy. You know what I mean? It's
exactly.
So easy to find.
Black Widow and Tarantulas and all that other shit. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Instead of even changing the deco, that's what I like that they did for the 10th anniversary. They made show accurate decos.
Right.
And I think if it was show
stuff, yeah.
Right. Well, I think if it was show accurate decos, for Beast Wars stuff, I would be more inclined to definitely get more excited about that. But if it's just the same deco from the same toy from 25 years ago,
mm-hmm.
I don't know. I would be too super thrilled over that. Now, if they did the unreleased stuff, some of the unreleased BotCon ideas, Cataclysm, Fractal, Alpha Tri, all that stuff, dude, I think that stuff would hit hard and sell fast.
Right.
Green Ramulus, Blue Mont, despite that I do have original of those, I would totally buy them. Just so I could not open my originals. You know what I mean?
Right, dude. And that's the boat that I found myself in. It was all right, I want to get rid of all this hoarding that I'm doing with the excuse that it's all for my kid and just buy old stuff that I played with when I was little and see if he gets a kick out of it. But now, that question, dude, they've reissued the G1 line so many times under whatever that there should be a little bit of a portfolio available that I don't have to buy Starscream and Hot Rod and fucking Soundwave ad nauseum.
Dude, Soundwave. How many times has that Soundwave been reissued?
And don't get me wrong, man. I needed him. I'm happy to have him. But I maybe an e-hobby fucking style grapple, or maybe just any other figure. It's very apparent that next we're gonna get Blaster, we're gonna get Perceptor, We're gonna get Blitzwing and Astro Train.
All stuff that's been reissued at least once or twice in the last 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, dude.
Give
And
us
it's like,
something that hasn't been reissued in years, or never
dude,
been
honestly,
reissued.
like tap into these Japanese exclusive
Yes,
molds,
sir.
man. Like
Yes,
I know
sir.
they've got to still be kicking around. They've got to be. I mean, if Fun Publications found, or not necessarily they didn't find it, but it was offered to them, the Grand Max shell to use as an exclusive, there's got to be other like that stuff's got to be out there. You
Dude,
know?
it has to be. Or reverse engineer it and just drop some money into reverse engineering. Could you imagine? Just imagine if Hasbro one day said, "Hey, for this Christmas season, we're gonna do a HasLab where you can get, fucking Overlord, like brand new in box, or you can get Black Zarak brand new and no chrome or gold flaking issues, or just random stuff like that people didn't have access to or really didn't know about until they were older and the prices were gonna beat them in the wallet anyway."
Right. Dude, I have always thought like that the next kind of like HasLab venture should be either unreleased toys that like either made it to the resin stage or just made it to a paint master stage or whatever, or even just like the insane hard to find stuff. Like, just get a run of those, and I think that would move. Like, don't get me wrong, I like the big crazy, huge thing, but like eventually you're gonna have to move laterally. Like you can't just keep doing something bigger and bigger.
Right.
People are gonna tap out.
It's Star Wars. It's like, okay, Death Star 2, Death Moon, Death fucking Universe. But here, let me pose this question to you now that I'm talking about that. If for your money, if Hasbro with HasLabs, and don't get me wrong, that Unicron is awesome, but I think, or let me pose a question instead of a comment. Would you have rather had the ability to buy that Unicron, or would you have preferred a full scale, maybe not full scale, but big enough to have your masterpiece, an ARC playset?
It's funny. We talked about an ARC playset not too long ago on Stasis Lock, because I think that was rumored to be it, and not even masterpiece scale. Like even if it was Chug scale, I think like I was for the most part like on board with that as an idea.
Right on.
But I would prefer the Unicron over that kind of diorama playset folding up ARC thing. Like I think it's a great idea, but I don't think it's a great idea to move 5,000 to 8,000 units. Opposed to like again, my idea was Transtech. Release Transtech as the next Transformers HasLab.
That would be awesome.
It's literally the one that got away. And I think that would impress a lot of people, and I think the cost would still be fairly. I think it would still be within that like $500 to $600 price range, right? Because you're talking a whole wave of toys.
Yeah.
But at that point, like people are looking at like what they're getting more. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're getting more than just
everyone would want.
Right. I believe that a lot of people would hop on board for Transtech, and even if it's I say $500 or $600, like realistically, it would probably be closer to that $300 or $400.
Yeah, but then
let's
there's
say
typical markups, dude. Because
let's just say 6 to 8 toys. You know what I mean? And they got to make 5,000 of them. I think that most of them were deluxes. I think that like $40-$50 deluxe would be. I think that'd be right on the money. You know what I mean?
Right. And dude, and the fact you hit the nail right on the head with that would fly off the shelves. If you think about it, look, just the demographic here. There's almost a 15-year shift between you and I, and we're both like, oh yes, I would throw all sorts of money at Transtech.
Oh, dude, I would back it twice. Transtech, I would back twice.
It kind of blows your mind that you strike such a great point. Why hasn't that been done yet? Like,
well, not only that, but like it still comes up in conversation regularly. Right. I think like TFYLP talked about it a couple of months ago. Like they actually had Aaron Archer on to talk about it, and he said Takara has in their vault they've got those hard copy prototypes still.
Damn, dude.
So like it's most of those figures are there. If not the figures, then at least the concept art is there to get at least the rest of it, the first wave or whatever out. Yeah. And like that was the perfect kind of mixing point of G1 and Beast Wars. Like that was when G1 characters were going to start interacting with Beast Wars in a post Beast Machines landscape. And the fact that people still bring that up, what was it announced in like 2000? 2002, something like that. They kind of like
Yeah,
teased
it
or
was
whatever.
around the red time. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was after Beast Machines, but before RID. So, dude,
Yep.
it's been almost 20 years.
At least,
15 to 20 years since
Wow, we're
since
so
they even
old,
said
man. Holy cow.
that was gonna be a thing. And like people, like I said, people my age, people your age, are still it's still coming up. Like that's just do it, just put it out there, see what can do.
Yeah, man, and that's definitely just a collection, if you will, that I would buy wave after. I'm one of those folks. It sounds I'm just like you, where I'll just buy everything by the wave. Like I want all of it at the same time, whatever. And it killed me to cancel my Siege pre-orders this time around and say, look, I got to stop this. But here, like just this conversation, that gremlin's on my shoulder, like, come on, baby. It's not Battletech, but just go buy like at least 5. Just go get an Omega Supreme. You'll be okay. Just get 2 of them.
It's like the prices on Siege went way up for you lost the size and quantity of the figures.
Yeah, dude. And don't get me wrong, I get it, paint apps and whatever. But you got to remember, casuals like me that unfortunately, like I'll just buy a wave from BBTS and be done with it. A casual like me, you keep on raising this price, and it's like, well, brother, I don't need to, support you. I can buy other shit.
I already pick and choose Siege anyways. Like you can ask Mike, I think Springer, Impactor, and Mirage, and just a couple of the Amazon multi-packs. Like other than that, like I've tapped out. Like Siege doesn't do anything for me personally.
Yeah, right on.
And I feel like maybe if it did, maybe if I was still kind of more obsessed with that, Chug G1 thing, and maybe I think if the comic was better, I would have bought all the toys. Because the comic's using the toy designs, and the comic is very slow burn, lackluster. So I'm just not feeling it. I got the Megatron too, the Voyager Megatron. Other than the selects repaints, I'm not getting any of the shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude.
Oh my gosh! What's wrong for me is that I get so committed to the line, and it's like I almost have to get them all regardless.
Yeah, dude. But you gotta like that mentality, brother, because that mentality is gonna kill your. I mean, look, man. I wanted to punch him. I wanted to just punch life when I looked at my shelf and when Combiner Wars were out, and it was literally just the same figure with a different head 40 times.
And you had a Sky Rain and an Optimus Maximus, and like Combiner Wars was a great way just to get the classic Combiners in Chug scale. And like that, if I was still collecting like Chug G1, that's where I would have like started and stopped it at, and it would have been the Takara stuff too.
Yeah.
But like with Siege, I'm just like, do you think that Voyager Optimus Prime is good enough to replace that 2006 Classics Voyager mold that has been released 20 times?
Like that, dude. Like it's
personally, I don't think it is. I don't think it's good enough to replace that old toy.
Dude,
the reflector, and Dakota can vouch for this. I ended up buying 18 of them.
No shit.
Troop building the shit.
Yeah, Mike's gone insane over the reflectors.
You see, I would buy one, the tri-colored one that's harkens back to the old bootleg that I used to own. Just like with the Radio Shack Shockwave. But now I have Shockwave here and Magnus here, and like that pretty much the front end of the first wave. And I look at them and it's like, the nostalgia is not there in these pieces for me like it was before. Like they're a lot of fun and all, but I mean, I'm treating this shit like Pokemon anymore. Like I'm not buying it for enjoyment. I'm buying it to throw it in a room. Like if my toy room wasn't such a disgrace, I'd take this laptop in there and show you guys, but it's embarrassing. It's like what would happen if Pookie from New Jack City became a hoarder and had access to a pile of loot. It's just it's just bad, man. So, but I look at it and it's like, why do I even have this stuff then? Just sell it if it's just gonna sit here. And
like I said, man, like you gotta look at that. All right, I don't want anything to leave the confines of this room. And then, because that's what I do. Like whenever I realize like I'm starting to run out of some shelf space, or I can't put something here or whatever, or something just looks a little too out of place, I dump it. My problem is I miss getting the exclusives from FunPub. I miss those very niche, very obscure things. And the Generation Selects line has been scratching that itch this year with Shockwave, Red Wing, the G2 Megatron, the Reflector Trio, even the stupid Power Dashers. Like I was gonna sell that red one, but then I saw where they were doing the yellow one and the other one, and I was like, and I like teams, so I'm like, I'm gonna get that team of 3. Just obscure stuff that I could see them doing, and it's like, okay, now I got my BotCon set this year. I'm happy.
Which is awesome. Dude, those obscure ones are so badass too, and that's the problem. Stuff like that makes me want to go buy them. But the kind of personality I have will not allow me to just buy those. Because now it's like, I need those, and I need all 7 fucking Rainmaker mold, and I need this. And
I'm fortunate. I'm fortunate enough. Like I'm not. I used to be built like that, so to speak. But like it's definitely not anymore. Like now I'm more or less just this is what I want. I can cherry pick. I can be. But even then, like I'm looking at like what limited space I have, and like I know that those handful of things that I need to backtrack, those 3 BotCon sets that I need to backtrack, I'm going to have to sell stuff that occupies 3 shelves so that way I can fit them, in with the display and that it be kind of acceptable at that point. But, that's it's just kind of the thing, I guess. That's just them's the breaks.
But you see, and even then, in regard to you mentioned space and having to consolidate and make sure that you have enough room. That's what makes it even. It's kind of weird. I'm like I think a lot of people would agree. We're in a really weird space when it comes to collecting now. It's either there's really cool shit coming out very far or few between, or we're just getting bombarded with wave after wave of stuff that's like, okay, that's cool, but I'm not going to dedicate any of space to it. And you're seeing more and more stuff getting cleared out. Like it was weird for me to see Siege stuff already on clearance. It's like, wow, really? Okay.
Yeah, I've seen a few things here. I picked up the little weapons.
Yeah, like exactly those little like
Oh, Mike, if you find one of the little hammers out in the wild, let me know. I waited. Yeah, I waited too long on it. It doesn't matter if it's red. I don't know if they recolored it or if they're gonna recolor it. But yeah, I waited too long on it, so I still kind of need it.
I should have pulled the trigger on Amazon. It was $6 shipped, and I didn't.
Oh wow!
So if I see one on Amazon, I'll pick up 2.
All right, that'll work. Just let me know.
And if I see them local guys, I'll just grab them for you.
Okay.
Because that for some weird reason, I have really good luck finding Transformer shit around here.
Yeah, and see, really and truly, I don't really make it to an area to where I can like swing by a Walmart and look through some stuff. And my local one is it's shit for Transformers, but apparently it's a gold mine for Star Wars Black Series. Our buddy Josh, he collects the Black Series stuff. He's like, I'm looking for this, and this. I don't know dick about Star Wars other than I'm pumped for the Mandalorian because I like space western themed shit.
Right
on. And so he's like, I'm looking for all this. I'm like, yeah, man. Can't find it. He comes and he swings through here whenever we go up to Mike's show, or even if we're going to a con in general, and then like he'll find literally everything he's looking for. He spends his convention money at like my nearest Walmart.
That's awesome. I wish, dude. Like there used to be a time when Walmart was just jumping for GI Joe stuff, and that I guess that's when there was actually GI Joe stuff, though.
Yeah.
The funny part with Walmart is that when you go to look for stuff you want, you can't ever find it, but then they always have the shit that no one wants.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Clearance sale, like Toy Story. That my Walmarts are just flooded with it. Now, granted, I like Toy Store, but not that much. There's just way too much shit, there for it'll be clearanced out. But I mean, you get down to Marvel Legends,
it'll be at Ross soon.
They're all flooded with the old series, so that means the new series are sitting somewhere in the back, and
dude, there's still Black Panther and Guardians 2 wave stuff at my local Walmart.
Ooh, I need some Guardians too.
All right, I'll give it a look. Last I saw, there was no Death's Head 2. Like I don't think it was any of the like the in demand stuff, but there was some Guardians 2 stuff there for sure. Yeah, and then of course, like there's still a lot of Captain Marvel product on the shelves as well.
Fuck Captain Marvel.
I didn't hate it.
Didn't like it.
I didn't hate it, but it wasn't like the best movie ever. You know what I mean? Like that's just kind of where I'm at with it. You know, but like traditionally, like Carol Danvers isn't really like that popular of a character,
dude,
you know?
A little fucking bit, and I understand that it's Hollywood, but it was a bit off track from what it could have been. There's no reason why I'm rooting for a sub character, side character to be better than you. And it's not, I'm not a woman hater, blah, blah, blah. I was really rooting that it was going to be awesome. So not to get into full detail because I don't want to be all wham on the show here, but I was basically out of commission from March of this year just till about June. Couldn't go to the movies, couldn't do anything like that because I was immunocompromised for a while too. So my poor wife had to deal with my shit at home, and we waited till things came out on Blu-ray to be able to watch them. And one of those was Captain Marvel. And I was super excited, like, oh, yeah, Han, wait till in the comic books this and that and the other. And then we watch, and it's like, all right, wow.
Yeah. I think I would have liked it more if Marvel was actually Marvel, but but like you know, like that was like one of those deals. Like I was trying to tell a friend of mine, she was super excited for Captain Marvel, and like after we saw it, I was like, she was like, well, how did you like it? I was like, well, it's not terrible, but there's a lot that just didn't, you know. The way that Kevin Feige is just trying to push her as like this super popular, like all powerful character in the MCU is just so counterproductive to like her true, like her real struggle in the books, like the House of M thing. You know, her perfect world was where she was actually a popular superhero. It was her and Wonder Man. They were the most popular non-mutant superheroes in the House of M, you know, universe that Scarlet Witch created. Like now, if you do a Scarlet Witch, like what are you going to do to make Carol Danvers' story compelling? Right. You know, are you going to like, you know, bring her dad back to life or something? Yeah, I don't know. Like some typical just like two-dimensional bullshit. No, that was my issue.
Or some shit.
Nah. Yeah, you know, so.
Since we're talking about Marvel movies, let's look at what are your feelings on Spider-Man being lost out of the MCU now?
I think it's amazingly stupid on everyone's part. I guess they don't like printing money, but
I think. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead, brother. After you.
I was gonna say I think it's all a ploy. I think it is all a really good marketing ploy because at the end of that, you know, that statement, he said, well, he's out for now, and they mentioned that they were going to bring him into the Venom, you know, movies and do some more stuff with him there. I think what's going to happen is we'll get a couple of Spider-Man movies, maybe, or we'll at least get cameos in these, you know, this next Venom film of Spider-Man. But I think by the time in 3 to 5 years, whenever Spider-Man 3 is, you know, to be planned and they've actually built up enough steam to do an ensemble movie again, another Avengers-esque movie, I think that's when a deal is going to miraculously be struck and we'll get, you know, we'll get something in the vein of another, not necessarily another Spider-Man, you know, solo flick, but something that will sell a boatload of money and put a bunch of asses in a bunch of seats.
Oh yeah,
I think that's the angle they're trying to play at.
So if they take Spider-Man out, do you think he's still going to have the Iron Suit and Stark technology, or is that all going to be?
Well, yeah, dude. He more than likely will, though, or it maybe not necessarily a Stark technology per se in the broader scale of things, but it's still a Marvel character, regardless of their relationship with Disney. They're still pulling from that Marvel portfolio, if you will. So I'm pretty sure they'll be able to jack, you know, what they want. Not saying that they would, or not saying that Disney doesn't have something written somewhere that says no, fuck you. But I
don't think they'll be able to call it Stark Tech. And to be fair, like the suit that he had at the end of Far From Home wasn't the Iron Spider suit. You know, it was kind of. I think they'll very much still be able to use that suit design. They won't make any reference to it being Stark Tech.
Yeah. See, dude, but I could see it very easily where the Marvel Universe introduces the Fantastic Four. Well, just like you were saying, brother, they're going to do something where Spider-Man is in Carnage, and somehow we'll see Spider-Man swinging through past the Baxter building or something, and everybody will start screaming and rabble.
Yeah,
Will be the
absolutely, absolutely. And then $1 billion movie is born.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Then we're going into like Secret Wars or something like that, where it's like the next
Right.
story arc for the main baddies or whatever.
Now, which Secret Wars do you think they'll do? Do you think they'll do the more recent Hickman? Because like everything they're doing right now in the MCU is a mimic of all different Marvel. We're getting Jane Thor, which I'm not too pleased about. I didn't. The only thing good about Jane Thor was Odinson's journey through that, but it looks like they're going to be pulling some multiverse shit for that.
Right, and I was just going to say, will they stay true to that storyline? And it's highly doubtful that they will.
Well, no, because all the gods are dead, so you can't really get a really good God Butcher line. You can't get a good the dynamic that Odin had with Jane Foster, and then that Odin and Freya both had. Like, there's no. Because they're both dead, now Odin and his wife can't have a spat because his wife supports Jane, and he's like, no, that's my boy's hammer. Like, you're not a god. You don't belong here. So you don't get that dynamic. You don't get that. You more than likely aren't going to get the Mangog story. So I think, like, dude, honestly, like, Marvel Phase 4 is phase out for me. I'll catch them on TNT whenever they start teasing some of the X-Men stuff. I'll get back in on the X-Men stuff.
Yeah.
If they introduce Namor and Black Panther, like, I'll go see that for sure.
Yeah.
But
it is getting to a point where it's getting kind of just spent. And dude, like I said, I haven't been able to go to an actual movie theater in forever, and just waiting for this stuff. Like, a prime example, I haven't seen Far From Home yet. I'm looking forward to it. I'm waiting until Prime tells me that the DVD ship. But to say that I'm gonna, one of my first experiences back in a movie theater, I doubt it's gonna be even just a superhero movie in general. And that feels like that's the only thing that's left anymore. And it's like, okay.
I'll be honest, dude. Endgame, and even Far From Home as like a bookend to Endgame, left me with such a sense of finality and closure that I don't feel compelled to continue this Marvel Cinematic Universe journey. Like, I'm good. They want to appeal to all the shitty stories. That's fine. Like, in no universe should Jane Foster Thor take precedence over a Beta Ray Bill story. That's just Bill. Okay, everybody wants Beta Ray Bill. Like, Stormbreakers is in play and has been in play since Infinity War. It's like, my initial thought was, sweet, Beta Ray Bill's coming. Like, after all this shit's said, we're gonna get Beta Ray Bill.
Yeah, dude. And when they showed his face in Ragnarok, it was like, oh, okay, awesome. Yep. We're eventually gonna get him. No.
Supposedly, they even had like a filmed scene, but they ended up pulling it just to pull away from any convoluted anything to take away or whatever. Supposedly, that's what I read. But yeah, man. Like, so dude, some of the Disney Plus stuff kind of piques my interest. WandaVision, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. That's interesting to me. The what if it's all animation, but I'll be honest, I know a lot of people wanted Marvel Zombies, and personally, I don't. I really hope to see. I don't know if you guys read the story Fear Itself. That kind of
it's fucking awesome,
dude. It's where it's like think of The Boys, kind of like it's where, like, okay, if all this shit happened in real life and things like essentially went as wrong as they possibly could. So you've got like Professor X and Kingpin and cahoots, and like I think like political figures working together, like Quicksilver. He moved so fast that it vibrated his arms and his legs off of him. Magneto couldn't control his powers of magnetism.
No way. Okay.
All kinds of just crazy shit. Yeah, man. Like, it's a very dark story, but I want to see that. I may need to get in on that. Yeah. My only thing I'm looking forward to is I know that with the what if stuff, they said they're using the real actors as the voice actors, and if they do Marvel Zombies, Magneto played a role in that, and I'm gonna look and see who they get to voice him and see if he could potentially play a live action Magneto. If they decide to go that route.
The guy who played Magneto in the First Class,
Fassbender,
was looking at him as Dr. Doom.
I wouldn't hate it, but man, I love that dude as Magneto. Like
awesome.
he projects that mutant struggle that Magneto went through so well. And I mean, as a Doctor Doom character, cool. But I think there's a lot of these kind of more current X-Men like roster of actors that I think should honestly just be ported over. Like I know it would be confusing and they're not going to do it, but Evan Peters as Quicksilver, perfect.
Yeah.
You know, James McAvoy, I think he makes a great Professor X. Sophie Turner, I like her as Jean Grey. The no-name kid they got for Cyclops, think he's a great Cyclops. You know, the girl they got for Storm, like so. You know, I'm a fan of the actors that they've got, and I think you know they could still kind of go with some more quote unquote no names, and that's probably what they will do. But
yeah. Damn it.
What was funny about the Spider-Man? The best meme I saw out there was, "Hey, look, guys, Spider-Man's rebooting. Uncle Ben's back on the chopping block."
But yeah, dude, I really hope they steer clear the hell away from telling the same old story. Yeah, we get it. The Uncle Ben thing. It's just like with Batman movies. I don't need to know that his parents died again. Just all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We get it.
Wasted screen time. Yeah. And I think that's the smart thing that Marvel did with MCU Spider-Man. It's just like everyone knows his fucking story, man.
Yeah.
You know, they just hopped right into it.
Yeah, which was actually awesome. Like, you know, the throwback here and there, just in commentary, like I miss Uncle Ben. Yeah, you know what? I miss Rice too. But just move on instead of dragging us all through it because I don't want to sit here and watch this shit all over again.
Right.
That's the only thing that has me fearful of Sony doing what they're doing. I'm very hopeful that they'll do something good with the character, but I'm just scared that we're going to get another Electro and just another trash box movie. And it's like
the way I read it was that they're still going to kind of move forward with what they've got. That's how I perceived it. So, and like no one knows really what's up with Tom Holland and whether or not he's going to reprise or do this or do that. Who knows? I think it's interesting. What I will say though is the fanboyism is so strong because you've got people saying that Marvel was greedy. You got people saying that Disney was greedy. It's like shut the fuck up. They were both greedy.
Right.
Like that's where all this stemmed from. Like because both of them could not come together to make a deal. Realistically, my opinion, Marvel should have just taken the 5% deal because Sony owns it.
Right.
You know, and on top of that, they weren't. Marvel wasn't going to offer up Kevin Feige to help lead along.
Not in a million fucking years now. Not in a million years.
Well, no. Like Kevin Feige kind of like walked them through these last ever since Civil War, right? Like I think they really wanted Kevin Feige, and whenever Marvel was kind of like, no, we're going to pull Kevin Feige so he can bring the First Family and the X Family in to do shit. Like he just won't have the time. I think Sony was like, well, like that's kind of our guy. Like I think they were more trusting of Kevin Feige because they knew Kevin Feige was a Spider-Man fan. Like he pushed for it.
Yeah, but that's the thing too, brother. Like to your point, like those pieces needed to stay in place, and rather than everybody come to the table and say, look, we have the ability to just print money on this. Can we just keep on printing money? Sony said, well, no, we want this, and we want to, we need this, so this works this way. And the mouth said, well, no, you're going to pay your bills up front, and that's the way we're going to do it. And it, that's why I get such a kick out of the fanboyism, again, to your point, because it's like, guys, you do realize that no one gave a shit not a lick of shit about you in this whole argument, right?
Right. Yeah, but people are still determined to take sides.
Right, dude. It's a divorce that's going on, and you're the neighbor's kid. Like, no one gives a shit. Like, just bye.
Yeah.
Mike, you're awfully quiet over there, dude. I know you haven't seen me in a while, but I hope you're not, fapping violently.
No.
Yeah.
No, the last subject I want to bring up is an interesting article I read about. I know Dakota's not big on wrestling. What about you, Eric? Do you watch wrestling?
I used to. And whenever once in a blue, if it's on, like I won't necessarily change it right away. But I don't know enough about wrestling now to, make an educated comment. The last time I cared about wrestling, dude, like fucking people like Junkyard Dog and Jimmy Superfly Snuka were wrestling.
Okay. Well, here's the story. We all know who Ric Flair is, and
Yes.
he's always said, "To be
The
the
Nature
man,
Boy.
you got to beat the man."
Right.
And over the past year, Becky Lynch has been calling herself the man. And now Ric Flair behind the scenes was saying, "Hey, I've been using that since '81. Y'all need to either pay me or stop using it." And WWE kind of like said, "No, just go away about it."
Okay.
And so he went and trademarked the man, and to be the man, you have to beat the man.
Okay.
And now he's filing a lawsuit against them for
No
using
shit.
it. And now,
More power to him, man.
even though character wrestlers have now stopped following him on Twitter, even his own daughter is mad at him over the whole situation.
Why?
I
People
think
are fucking
it's a money
ridiculous.
situation.
Yeah, his daughter's not going to be too mad when that inheritance comes through.
She's gonna be just like Stan Lee's daughter.
Yep. I'm
Overall,
so angry
the Spider-Man
that he
shit.
forgot to deposit before 3 so I could have the money available. Asshole.
Yeah. I thought that was a pretty interesting story where, the man has been doing it for so many years, and he's like, "Hey, I was the man. I am the man. Now you're going to start using it. Then you need to pay up."
Pay your dues. Right.
It's not like they don't have the money.
Yeah, dude, but that's how you think rich people stay rich, by spending it?
Oh no.
Yeah, that's true too. Investing it though feels another thing.
You know, dude,
I feel like.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, brother.
I was gonna say I feel like it wouldn't be spending it on him, but it would be more or less investing it on him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I was gonna say thank you so much for smoking actual cigarettes. All the
You're
news
welcome.
that's going around about vaping and people like having vitamin E in the vape juice and fucking giving people lung failure and.
Oh, dude, yeah. Like I was very standoffish from those whenever they first came out. Like a lot of my friends were like, "Oh, dude, you should try it and you put those nasty things down." I'm like, I don't smoke in my house, so and I know what's in these. I know that there's like aluminum and all this other bad shit in these things, but I don't know what's in that vape juice. It's too new and too unregulated, and I made the right call. One of my mom's friends actually got he had gum cancer from vaping. Yep.
Brother, let me tell you this, and not to get too into detail, but I smoked cigarettes for years. I mean, at least 20. In order to quit, I started vaping. And yeah, that shit was no joke. Like I vaped, I want to say for maybe 5 years, and got introduced to that C word as well. And it was like, nah, you know what, man? I'm good.
Yeah, it's like I've been smoking for a little over 10 years now, and it's like I know that eventually, whenever I'm to a point to where I just don't want to, like I'll put them down. Like I can put shit down. It's not, but right now it's just a relaxing thing to do, and I've always thought that the big C was more of a hereditary thing than it was a cause and effect thing. And
I thought that too. Yep.
Hereditary, but like don't get me wrong. Like I think that the vape stuff does for sure cause. But it's like my grandmother smoked for 60 years, and she didn't technically get lung cancer. She got a pneumonia that had like cancer cells in it. But yeah.
Yeah, dude. No, man. It's absurd. Like and that bullshit. Don't ever let anybody ever. Well, maybe it's just me, but all the things that people used to say, like, yeah, man, you can quit and you'll forget all about cigarettes. Bullshit. The last time I had nicotine, let alone not a cigarette, but actual nicotine in my system, was April the 12th. Today is what, September the 6th, dude. I'll smell somebody with a cigarette, and it's like those old Tom and Jerry cartoons where like the aroma hand is coming through the air and slapping in your face. It's
I'm going through.
Man,
I'm actually
delicious.
I was gonna say I'm actually like I know that feeling because I haven't had a soda since like late May, mid to late May. I can't remember the day, but I can always remember the month and around what time. And like every time I walk past a fountain machine or I'm at a restaurant, like I can smell Dr. Pepper from like 20 yards out. You know what I mean? Like Dr. Pepper and root beer, dude. Like I love that shit. But I feel like I could put down sodas. It wouldn't be a problem to put down cigarettes because like I think sodas are more addicting than cigarettes. Like a month after, not even a month, 2 to 3 weeks after that last soda, I ended up like having like a headache, like actual physical withdrawals from a soda.
Yeah. The sugar withdrawal, I could bet, man.
Yeah. So.
It's fucking crazy. But yeah, dude, it's just absurd. Like, and guys, FYI, I don't mean to jump back and forth here, but Chris has been chiming up in the live comments here, and he noted in regards to the Flair piece that WWE went to Flair and offered a match between him and Becky Lynch, and he won't do it. Or pardon me,
I think he's 80 years old.
Yeah, and he wants the money instead. That's why everyone has quit following him. Thanks, Chris. That makes sense. I thought it was just people being spicy, not following him, just because, oh, fuck you. But, understanding that
he should be paid. I think he should be paid.
Yeah, like Mike said, dude's 80 years old.
Yeah.
He's
gonna blow out a hip or some shit. Like,
doesn't matter how good of shape he's in. Like, he's still 80 years old. That's still 80 years of wear on a body.
Anything can happen. Look at Jerry Lawler a few years ago. He had a heart attack at the side at the ring after he had a match, went back to commentary, had a heart attack.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, anything can happen. I mean, Ric Flair, he probably, like you said, hip. Break an arm, collarbone, something.
Hip would blow out. He would have a stroke. Like, there's so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
dude? Again, then all the fanboys that are bitching now. Not one of them would be apologetic then if he died in the ring.
Oh, Chris said he's 72. He looks 80. He actually looks like 100.
Well, even dude, even at 70, like. Like the fact that Sylvester Stallone's still doing a Rambo movie, like that's, and I know he's probably what, 70?
At least, yeah, I think so.
70, 75, something like that. Yeah, dude, like I mean, for him to be as jacked as he is, like just because he looks like he's in great shape doesn't mean it's great on his body.
Right, dude. And, he's already talking about Rambo's soft stool, and I don't know if I want to watch that. Like, I'm happy that you're able to poop, but
Yeah.
The good thing about him is that he's going and he's ending his main characters.
Yeah,
that's what
I do like that. Like that goes back to the in-game discussion. Like the closure is just so awesome to have. Especially with these franchise things that we're all invested in one way or another.
Grew up with, yeah, dude. In a sense, you spent the last 10 years with these people, kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's like all the main action. Guys need to go and look at Schwarzenegger coming back for Terminator.
Yeah.
Maybe he's actually going to end his story, or something will be done. It's like from the previews, like, is he a real person or is that another machine?
Well, I think we saw with Arnold, like they're willing to CG him. Like.
Oh yeah.
I think the CG option is always there for Arnold after, what was that, Salvation?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
that looked better than he did there back then.
Yeah, dude, it was a little bit too much. It was like, all right, dude, like I'm pretty sure you had like at least a blackhead. Like,
only thing they missed was the 16-inch wiener.
Seriously.
Well, guys, I guess we're going to call it a show. I appreciate you jumping on, Eric.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, anytime. I like to. This is a topic of a show of all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and sorry for ruining it with my atrocious language. So.
Oh, don't worry. I'm the same way all the time.
It's hard for us when you're so used to saying shit, damn, fuck.
It's funny. I don't curse this much in normal life. I think it's just the social anxiety, if you will. That I'm like, oh, let me be fucking cool guy. And there you go, and just curse. So, what can you do?
Right. So everyone who was watching and who will watch, we appreciate you watching. I'll be back live tomorrow night on Just Another G.I. Joe show. and we'll have John Russell on talking about some Cowboys.
All right.
What's going on with that? So, Dakota, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me everywhere at Primal Sabbath.
Eric, where can people find you at?
You can find me everywhere but Twitter at Surveillance Port, and on Twitter it's CIAD.
All right, and you can find me everywhere as Angry Mike now. And I appreciate everyone who watched, and we'll hopefully be back next week.
Yay! Round of applause, gentlemen.
Yeah.
We